Hi.
Oh, must be cold there.
It's cold, man. We're at 8 inches of snow. And I am everywhere we walk around this house and area, we're just freezing.
It's going to be 82 here tomorrow. 82 tomorrow.
Okay. That's nice.
Speaking of Texas, weren't you just here? What'd you think when you were here?
You act like I've never been to Texas.
I know, but how about this time? How was this time for you?
It was good. It was good. I came down. We're working on a new series. We can't talk about it too much, but there's a new series we're working on. Went to the Dallas card show, but it was in Irving.
It's really the Fort Worth card show in Irving. Yeah.
Which was fun. Got to do some fun stuff with Jeff, our old our friend
of the show, friend of the channel.
Yep, we did some fun stuff that'll be out later this week on the channel.
He's a Falk, friend of the channel.
Watch it. This is family friendly.
Hey, I pronounced that correctly.
Come on, Falker. Yeah, so it was really good. We had a really good time.
Good.
Yeah.
You'll always have a good time.
I didn't get to see you, which was no fun. I did stay with Matt and his family, and they are an incredible family. And Matt's he's a great dude. So that was nice.
See, that gives you a chance to branch out and hang out with other Bench Clear media members.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm still waiting for folks to come up here to the beautiful mountains and the beautiful snow, but you guys aren't jumping on those flights.
I have to come up there.
Yeah,
I have to. I lost a bet weeks ago.
Very true. You know what? Let's go ahead. You want to show the Ichiro that I finally sent you? I'm tired of you complaining about it. Is that near you? No? Okay.
Well, I got a lot of stuff out.
Tell folks that we actually is the bet that the deal's settled. I'm tired of everyone thinking that I don't send my.
We have consummated the deal, and that is done. I did get the Ichiro. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. How was your weekend? You had a good time. You got a tractor. You played in a poker tournament.
I had a lot going on. Tractor finals for a poker tournament. I was short stacked going into it because it kept your chips from the last tournament or the last satellite or whatever. Okay. I was literally the shortest stack in the room when we started, and six or seven other people went out before me. So I did okay. I hung around, kind of chip in a chair attitude, but yeah, got Julie a tractor for Christmas and allowed me to buy a couple of boxes of cards, and she let me buy. I bought some Topps Holiday. Do you like Topps Holiday? Do you know what it is?
It's too gimmicky for me, honestly. No,
I get it, but I just kind of dig that gimmick, I guess. Sucker.
I like how you negotiated cards as a part of the deal. It's like you're having such deep withdrawals that you had to find a way you had to buy her a $9,000 tractor to get your $20 blaster.
Does that seem fair? I don't know where that lies in the terms of fairness, but key to a happy marriage, it's never fair and it doesn't matter.
She'll probably come out ahead in comparison when it comes to depreciation.
True. Tractors don't lose their value very much, but
they don't.
Man, cards have been for sure.
Yeah, you're doing a top 50 right now, and you're working on it at least.
What's going on with that? Is it down? That's why all this is going on back here, because I am pulling my cards for my top 50 annual kind of where am I at. I've done it the last few years, and it's a great just line in the sand. Kind of fun to see how your collection changes and grows over time. So
is it growing over time?
It is. There's a lot of cards that I added this year that are in the top 50. But a lot of prices, even I did another price check. I was thinking about doing it in October, and I'm like, no, I did it in December last year. Let me do it in December this year. So I had written or gotten all the prices from October, and even that,
wow,
lots of pretty precipitous drops in values. Very interesting to just see how it moves and shakes throughout the year. So I'll do that in two segments. I'll do 25 or 50 to 25 or 26, and then I'll do 25 to 1.
Okay.
I had some cards drop out of that were in the top 50 last year that are not even in the top 100 this year.
Let me, I tell you what, let me just show one of them right here. Hold on. This gives me a good chance to let people see a great platform. Click the link in the show notes to get a 7-day trial of Card Hedge. You're gonna mention this Doncic, right? I'm assuming.
That one, right? Yep, that card, PSA
There you
9.
go.
I have a 9.
Okay, so yeah, so for those that have not used Card Hedge, this is incredible, right? You can switch between grades, you can switch between grading companies, and see things. I mean, it's awesome. I love
What
this.
does that say? Percentage drop up there on the right.
The SGC 10's down 37%. The PSA 9, 180 day down 100 or down 45%.
That's only on 180 days. What can you change the time horizon like to a year or
Can just like that, down 68%.
Yep, that's about right. So very cool tool.
Yeah. Outstanding tool. Every time I even pulled up when I'm not like we're all live on the show here, I'm thinking, man, I just love this thing. It's so awesome. $14 a month. It's seriously worth the $14 a month. So if I was you, I would just add this to my collection, but I don't have it. So why do you have a 9? I figured you would have a 10. What's up
Well,
with that?
so even as much as it's down, I bought it at the 2019 National for $15. So
You bought a 9 for $15?
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, go back 2 years, or how far back can it go?
It's like, well, let's go back to the 9 and let's go back all. I don't know what all means. April 12th.
2020.
3,650 day gain. It's I don't know how accurate that is.
Well, that's impossible, but whatever.
Yeah. You know, I just realized they have Star Stock on here. That's kind of fun. Star Stock A's they're tracking. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
So you look at the PSA 10 and you're down 67%. Current price is 554. That's a base. I mean, are you a buyer at 550 on a PSA 10 Doncic right now?
No, because the pop is only going to continue to rise. At how many people? It's not that people don't want it.
Yeah.
There's just, I think, more coming onto the market than are looking to buy one.
What do you think that pop is right now?
22,000.
Well, to answer your question, you click that pop button, and the answer is, wait for it. PSA 10s, there's 18,091, 33,000 total graded cards.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and so I just think that's going to keep going up, which will suppress the ability. I mean, he'd have to come out and 18 triple doubles in a row, something massively huge, historic in terms of performance. But you see a guy like, look what Steph Curry's stuff has done this year because of his. I mean, he's playing lights out and
arguably the best he's ever played. It's insane.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, I was able to snag a PSA 8 Steph Curry rookie at the show this weekend.
Nice.
Pretty excited about that. So can I make a comment about Doncic real quick? I don't want to offend you. I know you're a Doncic lover, but I got to go to the game on Friday night with Matt. It was a great experience. I love the arena. It's just clean. It's got an awesome feel to it. I would say it was probably 60% full. That's my guess. Okay. If I was a guy thinking, okay, I want to find someone to put money into the sports car world, and I was looking at the top 10 guys, and I went in to watch Doncic on Friday night, I would have left thinking, there's no way in heck I'm investing in Luka Doncic. I was maybe it's just an awful game for him. Just not impressed. For the people with the prices people are paying. I guess let's put it in perspective. I can't stand the fact that he complains every stinking call. Just stop whining and play ball. He just seems slow and big to me. I'm thinking, okay, what's he going to look like when he's 28? Is he going to be faster and stronger? I don't know. But is that way off base? Should I?
No, I mean, he hasn't been playing Luka-ish this year. And a lot of people around here are wondering what's going on. He hasn't been putting up the same numbers, and he was just so dynamic and electric his first 2 years. It's not hard to keep that up. I mean, it is hard to keep that up, but I don't think he's done. But I get why his cards are where they are.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I I think the takeaway I had was I think his prices falling are more of a reflection of his play and less a reflection of the card market.
Fair enough.
That was my takeaway.
Yeah.
But we also did see Zion. They were playing the Pelicans. We saw Zion Williamson sitting on the bench, Matt and I think Matt may have posted a picture of it on his Instagram. That dude, talk about gaining weight. Oh my goodness. I would be running for the fences if I had a lot of money tied up in Zion Williamson right now. I could not believe how big he was.
Size of a small mountain.
I mean, he's got to become a center at this point. Power forward's out of the question.
Well, I'm glad you had fun at the game. That's awesome.
Yeah, I did. All right, so PSA acquires Card Ladder. What are your thoughts on that? Is that was that surprising to you?
A little bit. I mean, it looks like they're trying to create more of a user experience on their website by incorporating some of the data that Card Ladder brings to the table. Mm-hmm. I think it allows them also some economies of scale that they can do that will be very difficult for other providers of that type of data. Period, paragraph. I mean, they're just going to try to win everything. They want to be the biggest gorilla in every room of every segment of the card market and the secondary card market, I should say, right? Mm-hmm. Data, grading, all that kind of stuff. So I don't think they're done either. Mm-hmm. So when they call you to buy a media conglomerate like Bench Clear Media, Ty, take the call. Okay.
So a couple thoughts. First off, Retro Hoop Collectibles did a great video on it a couple days ago. I thought he had some great perspectives. I'll link the video in the show notes. And I kind of agree on his thought process here. I think PSA they were in that position where they needed a way to validate upcharges. They needed a way to validate these prices with these tiers that they're charging, because as you see the gaps in these tiers changing, like the new standard submission that's open, it can't be over $1,000 in value. Well, the only way you validate that is to have something like a Card Ladder, which goes out and looks at all kinds of prices to come to terms with the number. And that's how they validate upcharging. Card Ladder said it was worth $1,001. Upcharge. And I mean, the reality is, I think any organization, they're all battling over who gets the advantage when it comes to data. And maybe they felt like Card Ladder had the best advantage right now, provided the best advantage. Because there's a couple tools out there. Market Movers is one. Card Hedge is one. There's some other ones out there. I mean, they must have felt Card Ladder was the most advanced and most mature. And they took the leap.
The funny thing is, it's all still such a young industry, so to speak, that data aggregation in the card world. VCP's been doing it forever.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Right. So I would have thought they'd go after VCP, mm-hmm. But VCP is vintage card prices. They're not as strong. Maybe they'll still go. Maybe that some combination of those two technologies. Maybe you heard it here first. Like, we don't know anything, but I'm just saying.
No, we don't.
That would be an absolutely. That would make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. Honestly. I mean, look. Props to the folks over at Card Ladder. We know them well. We know them decently well. If I'm them and the first offer I take, it's probably let's go, because the longer you wait, the more competition you invite. It's very easy to level the playing field fast. So good for them. They took the offer. They made out well, hopefully.
Yeah,
sure they did. Zero to buyout in 18 months. That's pretty sweet. That's a great story.
For sure. And good for them. Like you said, good for them.
Yeah. On the PSA note, the standard submissions are now open, but they're only open through group submitters. And it looks like there's a 2-month turnaround-ish.
Yeah.
Is that what it's? I think it's 2 months.
Yeah, and it's fascinating that it's every tier down from them reopening, air quotes,
Mm-hmm.
is it's getting more and more exclusive on, you know what I mean? It's $150 any express, right? Then we're thinking, we don't know this, but if the group submitters are charging 95 to 90 to $100, $95 each,
Yep.
they're getting it for 75. There's a profit there. Don't kid yourselves. The group submitters are making money on every card.
Yep.
Most of them aren't going to do it for a margin of $5 a card. It's too much work, and too much risk. So they're going to make that money there. And so if they're getting $75 a card, what are they averaging? 185 to 200,000 cards a week.
Mm-hmm.
The other catch is, these group submitters can only submit 300 cards a week each.
Yeah. And
we were talking before, if there's 500 of those guys doing group submissions, we don't know how many. I'd really like to know that number. Actually, that'd be fascinating.
It would. Yeah, know. I mean, I don't think 500 is completely out of the realm. I think that's a possibility. I think our math was 500 times the 300, because it's a 300 cap on the weekly submissions, and you're talking, if it's $75 a card in gross revenue to PSA, that's 11 million bucks
every week.
Versus every week, right? Versus the basically a little less than $2 million they would have taken in at the standard, the $12 rate. Like, I think just putting things in perspective with, they're just feeling out the market. I think they're just feeling out what's going to work, what prices are going to, because if they sell out and they're capping every submitter at 300 cards, and you got all these cards coming in and they're at capacity, why the heck would they provide a lower tier service?
They wouldn't. And they won't do that until that only gets them 100,000 cards or 50,000 cards a week. And it's not, and that would have to happen for, I think, some sustained period of time. If it happened 1 week, there could be a lot of factors that play into that. If it happens 8 weeks in a row, they might go, hey, maybe we're priced a little high. We need to fulfill, we're paying all these people to be here. Let's lower our price so we can get these cards in.
Yeah. Well, I think the express orders are probably dying off, because I submitted one a month ago, got it back in 2 weeks. I just submitted one 2 weeks ago, and it's already in QA check 2 on business day 8. So it's basically through the process. So I'm guessing the backlog of express has kind of died off, and they're thinking, okay, it's time to kick in the next layer. Let's see what we can do here.
Yeah. And yet I still have cards from a year ago that are still sitting there.
Yeah.
And that I had submitted through some group submissions. So it's like they're taking part of their capacity and dealing with new stuff, and they're taking part of their capacity and dealing with old stuff, which you still have, let's call it a 4-month window of submissions from the backlog, right? That seems reasonable to me.
Yeah,
and
close
they
enough.
They quit in April, right? Didn't they shut it off in April or May?
Yeah.
What was it?
Right. Yep.
So if you have, and believe me, that was the peak, right? That is when people are sending in every card they had to get graded. And so you had this huge influx. Now, if they're going to pull this capacity to grade at this new service level, the standard service level under these group submitters, and they're still taking express orders,
right?
That doesn't leave a lot to continue to chip away at all these outstanding, cards that are there waiting to be graded. Right. They're going to be driving a lot more resources towards the stuff coming in the door on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm to tell you, it's going to be really interesting, because you already sense people getting a little, cold feet with grading, because they took it on the chin with a lot of these great cards they got back, all the slabs, right? The junk slab era. Be curious to know if they rush to the entrance when that gate opens, if PSA is going to get underwhelmed with the rush of orders.
Well, and all the while, all this entire time, SGC has been building up its capacity. You've got new players, CSG, HGA. There's a lot more options today than there was 18 months ago, 16 months ago, whatever it was. And so I think they'll be surprised anyway. I still think the appetite for grading is still
Yeah.
pretty high
Yeah.
out in the hobby. And you got to think about it. Pretty much any 2021 product has only been graded by other companies, not
Right.
PSA,
Right.
for the most part. It's not completely true, but any base card, or no one was sending those in at the high express rates because it didn't make any sense. And so I wonder if there's some people still holding out hope that the cheap levels will return and they can they're holding on to their 2021 stuff across whatever sport to send in. At some point, they're probably going to go, all right, screw it. It's never going to happen. So you'll see these other grading companies continue to gain market share on newer stuff because it'll never make sense at $100 to send in a card.
Yep. No, I think you nailed it. There's going to be some interesting things to watch for sure.
Yeah.
We just did a submission video from SGC. I think what's going to be interesting to me, and I broke down some data. I continue to watch it. The gap, the market share that SGC is taking from PSA, from BGS is quite interesting. I wonder if that continues as PSA opens. Or that's what I'm most interested in. Does SGC continue to gain market share? I almost think SGC has taken market share from BGS, maybe a little from PSA, but I just feel like the momentum is all in for SGC at number 2. BGS is like out of mind, like out of sight, out of mind for me. I feel like when I talk to people, it's very similar to them. Is that a feeling you get?
100%.
Okay.
It's although a lot of people are loving the CSG thing, but BGS is certainly an afterthought now in terms of where do I want to send my cards? BGS is way down the line.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That, really in a matter of 12 months, I don't want to say they become irrelevant because that's probably not fair, but they've come pretty darn close to irrelevant in the grading space. Where did they swing and miss?
They were never for a period of time. Do you remember 4 or 5 years ago? They were the place to send the new stuff you pulled out of the pack, right?
Yes.
They were it. Bowman Chrome rookies and Topps Chrome rookie, all these things were going BGS. Well, PSA then took that over because people liked the flip more, and they didn't like that there wasn't subgrades. But now you got subgrades with HGA or CSG. You can do that cheaper and better, and all that works. So
yeah. Well, I think also people started to realize getting pristine BGS 10s is nearly impossible. Like, it's just ridiculously impossible. And the 9.5, the Gym Mint 9.5s, the gap between that and a PSA 10, it was just so wide.
Yeah.
So you could not hit anything but a BGS 9.5, or you were just, it would have made 0 sense in terms of value for your card. So as these platforms come out and they show the disparity between these grades, I think it just exposed BGS and like maybe the lack of interest in the mid-tier grades.
I haven't talked to anyone that I know in the hobby that's sending to BGS.
I literally know nobody right now that sends to BGS, right, which is crazy because I was a BGS guy for a long time.
Yeah, it's SGC, PSA, or CSG. Those are pretty much the 3 I hear people talking about.
And I can't stand the CSG slabs. That's just me. I don't like them.
Okay. I don't like them either.
So I really, and I feel like that's a pretty strong consensus with people. Yeah. The slabs are like, this is not going to work. And I hate the argument like, but at least they're accurate. Well, it doesn't really matter. First off, if the slabs are ugly and if they hold like 0 weight in terms of relative value, who cares how accurate it is at that point?
Yeah. I like the slab itself. It's actually quite strong, sturdy, and it feels good in your hand. The flip is just, I think, in my opinion, but ugly.
Mm-hmm.
But ugly.
Yep.
But hey, they are gaining market share for sure. No doubt.
Yeah. I mean, they're again probably taking it from BGS, maybe
And
taking it the little bit that HGA gained, because I feel like HGA is another one that's kind of fallen off the map really quickly.
but it's funny
So,
when you go around to shows, like you were at this show,
yeah,
you probably saw PSA slabs, SGC slabs, and CSG slabs of newer cards. That would be what you're going to see at shows.
yeah,
Interesting. Anyway, enough
very
about
interesting. Cool. What else you got for me today, Mike? I'm bringing all these great stories to you. What do you got for me?
that. I bring nothing to the table ever, Ty, which is, you've known me for a long time now. Let's go. That's not a big deal or surprising.
We're gonna need to change the name of the show. On the Fly with Ty and maybe Mike.
Right. Maybe some contributions from Mike. There's a product that came out that I'm actually that I really like. I'm not going to buy any of it. I'm not going that far,
Okay.
but I do like it, and I'll share my screen so you can see it. I think this is an interesting product. 2021 Topps Chrome Black. I think it's a very good looking product.
Okay.
This is on Topps.com. You can go buy the boxes right now for $150. What I can't stomach and I can't understand, yes, you get an autograph per car or per box, 100 card base set. I mean, yeah, if I could pull that card, I'd spend $150 on it, right?
Yes, you would.
But the reality is, I mean, these are good looking.
They're great. They're great looking. Yeah.
I mean, they
I've
are
always been a
really
fan of black.
sharp car. Look at that. There's a base Jazz Chisholm.
Yep. Yep.
Piazza Auto. They're really nice. 4 cards in the box. Like this is another one of those total gambler products,
Yep.
I mean, I guess if you bought a case, you might be able to pull a case hit or something that can help. But yeah. And then we've got the other topic I wanted to talk about was right now the ballots are out for Hall of Famers for Hall of Fame voting.
Yeah.
We just had on Sunday the era committees put in 6 new guys, but I think the real talk about Hall of Fame is going to be coming up in the next month, as you've got Barry Bonds on his last ballot. I'll actually show you guys. This is a great, if you just want to follow along with what's going on in the balloting. Not Mr. Tibbs has done this for years. Can you see my screen?
That's cool.
So right now there's 10 ballots that have been made public, and usually you'll have the writers publish their ballots on Twitter or a web page that or somewhere, the different writers, and it does a great job of all right, here's all the people and who they're voting for. So, and you can track along with where they're at based on the ballots currently, et cetera, et cetera. There's so much data here. It's fantastic, which is maybe why I love it, because I'm such a nerd for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to Hall of Fame. But I'm going to run through these names, Ty, and I want you to say yes or no, because most of these players you've seen their entire career.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the cool thing about the Hall of Fame now, is it's getting to the point where all these guys, I watched everything they did. So
exactly.
Or I was a fan during all of it. And I want you to say yes or no, just gut reaction to these players. Bobby Abreu.
No.
Okay. Faster. We got a lot of names. Barry Bonds.
Yes.
Is it me that's breaking up or you?
I think it's you. Yeah. So no on Abreu. Yes on Bobby. On Bonds.
It might be me. Okay. Mark Burley.
No.
Roger Clemens.
Yes.
Todd Helton.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna go yes.
Tim Hudson.
No.
Torrey Hunter.
No.
Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
Interesting. Jeff Kent.
Nope.
Tim Lincecum.
Nope.
Joe Nathan.
Nope.
David Ortiz.
Yes.
Jonathan Papelbon.
Ooh. I need to look at his stat line again. I'll say yeah.
Andy Pettit.
Yep.
Manny Ramirez.
Yep.
A-Rod.
Yep.
Scott Rowland.
Nope.
Jimmy Rollins.
Nope.
Kurt Schilling.
Yes.
Gary Sheffield.
No.
Sammy Sosa.
Yes.
Teixeira.
No.
Vizquel.
No.
Billy Wagner.
No.
So lots of no's, and that's pretty accurate. It's funny how we've had one blank ballot already this year. One guy said nobody's worthy. It's kind of, he's already getting a lot of crap on Twitter for that. But Bonds, Clemens, Schilling, Sosa, all in their last year on the ballot, and A-Rod and Ortiz are the big first timers on the ballot.
And I think they're both first ballot Hall of Famers. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm a big, and A-Rod was even suspended, right? I mean, he got caught, and I still think he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
that's a hard thing to probably do a whole video about this. But by the way, go check out, if you just Google Hall of Fame balloting, not Mr. Tibbs, and I save this and you can check it every day and refresh it. And it's, when I get the data, they put it in there. It's just a great,
that's cool. That's really cool. I'm going to follow him.
Cool resource. But
yep.
Anyway, you can kind of see how people are tracking and all that. Right now, with only 10 votes in, nobody would get in, but it's very, very early. There's 400 and something ballots out there. But that'll all start trickling in over the next month. But there's this, I don't want to condone cheating. Using steroids, performing enhancing drugs is cheating. How can you then, how can you say, I don't want to promote cheating and I'm willing to vote for these guys?
Yeah.
That's, it's really weird how I've come to grips with that and been able to say, yes, Bonds is a Hall of Famer, Clemens is a Hall of Famer. And it's because of the era that they played. And you can say, people argue this stat, and I don't want to get too nerdy on numbers, but let's say A-Rod hits 20% less home runs. 20% of the balls he hits out end up being fly balls to the outfield because of steroids. Or he misses 10% more games because he doesn't heal as quickly or recover as quickly, right? Those are kind of the two major effects, right? Strength and stamina. Is he still a Hall of Famer? Yes or no, right? I mean,
that's fair.
Yes,
I think it's a very fair way to process it.
He probably has data. His stats are skewed, no doubt. Take away whatever effect you might do it. If you think it's half, is A-Rod still a Hall of Famer?
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I think that's why the case for Bonds is so strong.
Right.
Yeah,
of course, many say Bonds Bonds could have retired in 94-ish when people, or 96, whenever they think he started juicing.
Yep.
Which, by the way, no one's ever proven that, although it's, it's very difficult. But
it is. Anyway,
sorry, I'm rambling, but
no, for sure. And I'm finishing up a book. I told you about a month ago I started this book. I think it's called It's Better to Be Feared. It's the story of Brady and Belichick. It's an outstanding book. Like I've been through. It's a large book, but it covers really in depth the whole cheating scandal that they went through. And it's funny with some of those guys, right? Yes, cheating, they cheated. Did it help them win the Super Bowl? Probably. Would they have won it anyway? Probably won at least 2 or 3 of those. But then they stop that and they win 3 more. And like some of these guys, the same thing kind of happens, right? Okay, they stop it and they continue to perform the way they were performing, slightly less as good. I think that to me, it's like it should neutralize a little bit of what we think about it. Because in reality, like you said, a lot of these guys were all doing it. Just irritates me. Same thing that happened in football.
And then A-Rod got caught. He got suspended. He paid his time. You know what I mean? It's like, catch him, suspend him. If they come back and they it's like punishing a guy who got convicted of a crime. He pays his time, and then you don't let him reintroduce himself to society. That seems a little unfair. Yeah. Now you might introduce that criminal with a little more skepticism, right, and a little more with a critical eye. But and you may make them test more and all the whatever they did to A-Rod. He hit a lot of home runs not on steroids,
for sure.
Right? He didn't hit all of them on steroids. Neither did Barry Bonds, and Clemens didn't get every strikeout on roids. And anyway, like you said, I know you got to go. This has been fun though. Have a great week, my friend.
Real fun. Yeah. Thanks for joining on a Wednesday on the fly, Mike and Ty on a Wednesday. It's always midweek's always nice. I feel like we get more news to talk about.
Yeah, ideally we keep doing it on Mondays, but we just got to do it when our schedules permit. Period. Paragraph, folks.
That works.
We can.
That works. Have yourself a good week.
You too, man.